Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hash Rate. My name is Mark Jeffrey. My guest today is Sergey Volnov. He runs It's AI, which is Subnet 32 on Bittensor. Hello, Sergey. How you doing?
Yeah. Hi, Mark. Nice to meet you.
Great to meet you as well. Thank you for taking the time. So like you, I am neck deep in the subnet game. I've been watching and playing. About half of my TAO is now in subnets. So I am not on the sidelines. I am actively participating, and getting in and out of subnets as they sort of pop up. So tell us a little bit about It's AI. I know that I can tell you. Yeah, I see that you're basically at rank number 26 out of 80 or 81. So not bad. You're sort of at the top of the pack. Your market cap right now, it's not quite $1 million, but it's almost $1 million. So tell us a little bit about what you do. What is It's AI?
Yeah, sure. It's AI. It's a subnet and actually already is a company as well, where we focus on AI detection. Mostly, and actually the main focus is on text AI detection because as for now, LLMs super hype and they're getting better and better and they're evolving and we can see more and more people using LLMs, ChatGPT, and other services. And so with this rapid growth of large language models, it is becoming even more important to be able to understand whether the text is written by AI or it is AI generated. And our primary focus in Subnet is that we actually can determine whether the text is written by human or it was AI generated. And our miners solving the problem where we give them generated samples, we give them human samples, and they are trying to understand whether the text is written or generated. So it's in simple words what we do there.
And is it text only, or do you also do images and video?
Yeah, actually, it's text only, and we also have another subnet that focuses on images on the Bittensor, as far as I know. But we just think that it is much more general use case for text because text is in everyday life for like hundreds or for millions and billions of people. And if you can determine whether the image is AI generated or not, it's of course pretty cool, but it just has much less real use cases. While text, you have plenty of students, teachers, you have different writers and marketologists who write text and who want this text to be on one side undetectable, on other side they want to make sure that the content that, for example, in some publisher is posting, they want to make sure that this text is original and not generated. So it's much general cases for language detection, and we decided to focus on it.
And so what kind of accuracy are you currently seeing with your models right now? Like how, is it like 80% accurate, 90%? What are we talking about?
Yeah. Actually, we, after about, so on Bittensor, we are about 1 hour as for now, or 1 year as for now. And so we've registered in about March of previous year. And in September, Const asked us to measure how good are we on some different academia known benchmarks, because it's of course cool that we can show that on our local validation we got like 100% of accuracy, but actually everybody wants to see that it's not only miners and this validations that shows that they're really good. And we've scored our model on several benchmarks. Actually, the biggest and the most robust of them is RAID benchmark. It was actually it appeared only in 2024, and it has like 600,000 samples in just test set. So it's pretty big. It's robust. They have many models to evaluate, and we have 95.7% of accuracy there. And we are currently number one by accuracy among detectors, even commercial detectors, by this benchmark. It is actually available on the website. It's official leaderboard where we can see everybody can submit their solution, and we are number one there. So in terms of accuracy,
that's amazing.
It's pretty cool, and it mostly thanks to our miners. And I'm glad to see that our accuracy varying from this is the hardest benchmark, I guess, right? And we have 95.7 on it. On other benchmarks, there are also 3 of them that we've measured. It's HZ3, Ghostbuster, and Grid benchmark, and we got about 98% of accuracy there.
Wow. Okay, so pretty accurate. And now, who are the people that are really interested in knowing, whether text is AI generated or not? I mean, I assume like a professor, right, at a university, when students are handing in papers, that would clearly be one, very desirable use case where the professor can see whether the student generated that text with an AI or whether they actually did their homework, right? But what else? What are some of the other sort of high value use cases for detecting text AI?
Yeah, actually, you're right. It's the first field and area which come to our mind when we talk about AI detectors. It's educational. It is students on one side who want to make sure that they work will not be suspended as AI generated, and it is teachers on the other side who want to make sure that the students are not cheating. But actually, I see it. I see several others potential segments there. First of all, it's of course publishers and journalists alongside with writers, because they also work with text a lot. They need to publish original content, and it is something that the publisher as well as writer want to check before they publish officially their article or whatever. And the third segment, actually, if we think about it a little bit wider, so in our subnet, miners provide a segmentation for whole text, so we can see not only in general how your text seems to be AI overall, but we also can see which parts of text for each sentence we can calculate the probability to be AI generated. So we can a little bit inverse and look from other side. Every person who use AI and who do not want to be caught like he's cheating can use our service to check which part of text that he wrote and or partially generated looks AI, and then edit this part to become like more human and natural. So it's actually
wow. So you're helping the people that are trying to fool the system as well by helping them fine tune their AI generated text. Very interesting. Didn't think about that, but yes. I mean, look, I also have another career where I write novels, and this is one of mine published by HarperCollins. Plug. However, I also self-publish on Amazon and have for years through their Kindle Direct Publishing program. And what happened when AI first launched is all of a sudden they just got deluged with all these AI written novels and books. And they immediately put up a no AI rule because the number of submissions they were getting just went exponential, right? As you can imagine, right? And you don't want Amazon flooded with a bunch of low quality books, which was, where it was headed right after AI was released. So your tool, what sort of length of text can your tool be applied to sort of at the top end? Like, could I submit an AI written Lord of the Rings to your text and have it analyze it, or is that too big? Where's sort of the line?
Yeah, actually, as for now, for our premium users, we said like 100,000 of characters limit, but it's not a hard limit. It's just a limit for premium users. It can be easily extended because we split our text to bunches, to buckets, and after that we score them separately. So we go block by block and get our predictions, and then we can merge. So the length of text actually doesn't matter. We can even score a whole book, and then just show the predictions to the user.
So you can chop the book up, I think is what you just said, partly.
Yeah, we actually do it for users. Okay. So user can upload a whole book, and we then give him accurate results for the whole book. But under the hood, we're splitting it by chunks so that it fits the amount of text that can be processed by one prediction.
Okay, so in the Bittensor network, I've seen a couple of sort of AI detectors. One I'm aware of, BitMind, and they appear to do like images and I think videos, but also text. I'm pretty sure, and I know I've seen a couple other ones. How do you feel about your competitors in the Bittensor space? How do you feel you stack up? And does that worry you at all that you're not the only one doing this?
Yeah. Actually, we were the first one who launched the AI detection task, and as far as I know, BitMind do not have text detection, so they focused only on image generation or video generation, and so we actually do not compete each other. They work on image detection task, and we work on text classification.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. It is image and video only. My mistake. I had thought they were doing text as well. So these are very, very different things. I guess it's just it's a completely different AI task, which makes sense. Of course, it is. So silly me.
Yeah. Actually, at the beginning, we thought about adding it like a subtask to our subnet, but we decided to focus only text detection because we see a real use case for it, and it helps us to stay focused on the task and to become the best. So if we add several other tasks, we lose our focus as well as accuracy in one particular task. So we decided to stick with text generation, and BitMind got image and video classification, and it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's very wise. And I think I'll tell a really brief story here because I think it's applicable, because I think you're hitting a really great point here. So I used to be the CTO of a company called Mahalo, which the CEO was Jason Calacanis. The investors included Sequoia and Elon Musk. So I used to see those guys once a quarter for board meetings. And we had Mike Moritz, who is the founder of Sequoia. He just came over and visited sometimes, or sometimes hung around after board meetings. And we'd have bullshit sessions where the company would ask him questions, right? Like all 50 or 100 of us would basically just pepper him with questions for like an hour. And one question really stuck out of my mind. Somebody asked, so Mike Moritz, you have 40 years worth of venture capital experience at the world's top venture capitalist. You've been insanely successful. Is there a difference between the companies that make it and the companies that die that you've been able to see? And I thought the answer was going to be something like, well, no, it's different on a case per case basis. It depends on the market. It depends on this. It depends on that. And Moritz came back and said, no, actually, there is one answer to this. And the answer is the companies that focus on one thing and one thing only and are the best in the world at one thing, they might win. They have a chance of winning. The companies that sort of get distracted and are doing two things or three things, or they're headed down one path, but then this opportunity comes along and to make some money, and so they get distracted. If your attention is not focused, 100% of the time those companies die, right? So the only way to maybe win is to focus on one thing and be the best in the world at one thing, right? And he's like, that's just like a law of nature. So that really stuck with me because that was not the answer I was expecting. So, but that was, so you're doing the one thing. So I think that's great. And I think now you have a shot. So how many miners are there in yours?
Have a chance to win it.
Yeah. So how many miners are in your subnet? I think there's 256 slots. Are you all full, or what's the total number of miners?
Yeah, we actually amount of miners are almost full. About 3 or 4 weeks after we started. So now it's 256 slots, and about 16 of them are validators. So it's about 240 miners, and they're competing hardly to stay there and to get emissions. And as we
Yep.
can see, it's really work. And we actually there were several iterations in our validation process, because firstly, when miners we're optimizing the accuracy on the local validation on the validators, we've seen that it doesn't really correlate with real world results, and it were several iterations for us to make the validation stable, to make miners work in the right direction, and I'm glad to see that it worked out.
Yeah. Well, so you're one of the older subnets, I guess, and earlier you mentioned Const had asked you to report on the accuracy of your text detection AI. And just for those who don't know, and I always try to make sure the kids in the back are following, right? Const is the leader of Bittensor. He's the founder. He's one of the founders, but he's sort of generally regarded as the Satoshi of the Bittensor TAO space, right? But we know who he is. He's not like undoxed. And I don't know. I think Const stands for constellation, not constant. So I'm pretty sure that's correct. But Const is the guy that everyone refers to. So that's who he's talking about. So you've been doing this for about a year or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, in previous TAO, we had about 2% of emissions.
You had 2%, you said?
About, like 1.8 or something like that. It was fluctuating, but anyway, it was pretty decent.
Yeah, so that was back then, right? That was sort of over the last year. Is that right? That's not true right now. You don't have 1 to 2% right now, right?
Yeah, actually, we now have about 0.7. It's now became so. If in pre-TAO there was validators who are trying to understand what we are doing, how accurate we are on some benchmarks, what products are delivering, and etc. Now it's actually, of course, it's pure market, and it's fair. I cannot argue that, but for people, it is much more important to see that, for example, a team can buy back a decent amount of tokens so that price won't go down and something like that. We, of course, DCA'd as well, buy back some of our tokens, but not as much as like Targon or some other guys. And I hope that I hope that since some time pass, we'll see that people actually joining subnets and joining different DTAO, not only from the perspective of the technical analysis of the graph, of the plot, but also from the fundamental analysis of the company. I think that will be great.
Yeah, we're in a new era now, and it's the marketing and sort of awareness. So it's good that you're doing this podcast. So I commend you on that. A lot of the subnets are not doing marketing. I do have a lot of people poking me on X now, going, "Pick me, Daddy, pick me." So there's a little bit of that going on in my DMs. I've had my eye on you for a long time, actually, or your subnet. We didn't know each other before this pod, but I liked what you were doing. It was one of the use cases that stood out in my mind as one of the better ones. So I was sort of in the back of my mind, on my sort of list of top 10 or 15, you were in there as one of the ones that I liked. So when you popped up, I was like, yes, absolutely. I'd love to talk to you. I don't know you. I'd love to learn more. And how much does this, because I did go and look at your emissions right now. So you're making 46 TAO per day, which at today's for emissions, which is about 12K per day. And you have to split that between, right? That's between the subnet, the miners, and the validators. Go ahead. You have a comment? Is that correct?
Yeah. Actually, on the paper we are making it, but there is a little nuance here, because we of course dedicated to our project, and we do not want something decrease amount of TAO in the pool and something like that. So as for now, we haven't got any of our alpha tokens from our subnet owner wallet. So we just accumulating alpha here, and so we cannot just withdraw this amount of alphas. We currently sponsor all our team, pay them salaries and etc. through the savings that we've made during pre-TAO stage. And as far as I know, most miners also hold their emissions, and it's good because we do not have some extra selling pressure from miners, at least. And we actually recently even made a mechanism so that we actually have now minimum holding alpha amount for miners, so that they also will be dedicated to the project, so that they will have to hold at least some amount of alpha to continue to mine. And I think this is absolutely fair, because we hold as owners, we buy back some alphas, and miners now also on our side, and they will help us to do not dump our own subnet token. But anyway, we haven't yet got any of these emissions on our wallets in like USD or something like this. We just accumulating alphas to not harm the subnet.
Yeah, I think that's great. So you're basically keeping all the alpha all the alpha tokens are being emitted for your subnet. You're holding on to them. You're not selling them. Are you making a promise not to sell them for some period of time, or are you just basically like, we're not selling them for the foreseeable future, and that's all you kind of know right now? Is there a promise there or not? That's what basically
there were a promise for in the beginning, like that we are going to DCA and buy back on several hundreds of TAO our own token, and we are going to hold at least 1 or 2 months. After that, we said that we are going to see how it is going, and when the subnet will be ready. As for now, we do not see like it is ready, so we do not want to make it harm. So currently we are awaiting that some time pass and big guys will join the TAO stage, and after that we'll be able to actually sell it without harm, because we do not that we sell our token and like price is two times lower. We want to make it smooth and without like any dumping or potential harm to our investors and something like that. But yeah, as for now, we just looking at it, and no promise about that we will hold it about half a year or something like that. We just will try to do our best to like make it smooth, and definitely we are not incentivized to harm our own subnet, because it's our own emissions as well. So
yeah. So you actually so let's talk now about like sort of the real world, or the other world that's not Bittensor AI versus the Bittensor universe. There's a really interesting post that I saw on X, and it had been something I'd been thinking about a lot also, but this one person really crystallized it. And this person basically posted about, look, there's all these like venture-backed AI products, like Scale AI is a great example, right? So Scale AI is worth $14 billion. What they do is they take data that's been scraped, and they hand it off to humans to annotate and tag the data to make it more easily ingestible to AI for training data. And it just sort of makes the data better and more valuable if you have humans kind of annotate it. So they have like this Mechanical Turk thing where they have a bunch, armies of humans worldwide that are annotating this stuff. And Ready.ai is in the Bittensor universe, and they're doing the same thing basically. And their market cap, I think the last time I looked, was like 6 million. for their alpha token, right? And that's not fully diluted, but just market cap of circulating about 6 million versus 14 million, pretty much doing the same thing, right? So that the same products in the TAO universe at this moment are extremely, 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 extremely undervalued. And I think the reason for that, so why is that? And the reason why is because using Bittensor, the chain, and using alpha tokens, it's hard. Most people don't understand how to get the wallet, how to go to taostats.io and to what does it mean staking? What does that mean? What are emissions? Like the whole thing is sort of weird and hard, which is the way Bitcoin and Ethereum originally were before people like Coinbase came along and made it easy for the normies. So there's this whole universe now erupting where people are experimenting with putting subnet tokens on Solana, like wrapped tokens on Solana, as well as on Ethereum. And there's a number of different approaches to this. So people, the end goal being that if you're on Solana or you're on Ethereum and you just know MetaMask or whatever you're using for those two, you just use the wallet you're used to and the coins that you already have to go buy subnet tokens. So you can buy, you can buy your token, you can buy subnet 32, its AI token on Ethereum using Ethereum or USDC or something that they normally use. Now this stuff doesn't exist yet, but it's there's a couple of experiments that exist right now, but it doesn't exist at scale. I believe that's coming, and I believe when that happens, these market caps will become more, they'll become more equal to what their non-TAO Bittensor counterparts are worth, and we're sort of in the stages right before that. So, long-winded way of asking the question: are there corollaries in the real world to what you're doing? Who are you competing with? Who's your scale.ai out in the real world outside of Bittensor?
Actually, it's a cool question because we are not the only one. Of course, if there is a market, even if it's a big market for which we are actually going to, there is always competitors as well as in real life. And for us, we have a few big guys who we are actually competing. And in terms of accuracy, we already outperforming them. But in terms of revenue, amount of users, and etc., of course, we have a way to go to reach them. First of all is GPT-0. Maybe you've heard about them. It's also guys who making an AI detector tool. And actually, they raised $10 million in the summer by the valuation of 50 million. So actually, I'm pretty sure there is a big market, and it's not only by our measurements that we've made in some tables, but also competitors who. So there is GPT-0 who raised 10 millions. There is Kuppelix who earned in 2023 about 5 million per year. There is also Originality. I haven't found any numbers on them, but also pretty good one. And I think that with all this evolution of AI and through the time passes, we will see even more demand for such tool because the more people use ChatGPT and LLMs, the bigger the impact that we can make as AI detector because we actually stay on the other side of medal of like AI revolution. And so there is definitely a market. There is definitely some competitors that we still have to like outperform, not only in terms of accuracy, but also in overall terms of revenue and amount of users and etc. And we are going right for it.
Yeah, it's great to have competitors. It means that you're not insane. It means that other people also think that there's a market here, and especially if venture capitalists are jumping in and funding sort of VC-backed things. But it doesn't sound like anybody's really broken out. It's not like you've got a scale AI breathing down your neck that's worth $14 billion. It sounds like it's a bunch of other startups that are VC-backed in the single or double-digit millions in terms of valuation. So you're still well within shooting distance of them. Well, let me ask you another question. If I want to use your product at industrial scale, let's say I run a university and I want to buy a package from you for all my professors to analyze all their students' inbound reports to make sure that they're not AI, that they're written by human students. How do I go about buying services from you? Do you have a website? What's the pricing like? Run me through that.
Yeah, sure. We have a website. It's ai.org. And you have like a whole application here where you can scan, you can use API. There is a history for users. You can download certificate that it is passes or do not pass this scanner. There is a deep scan functionality where we highlight each part. And actually a big update also coming because we also did a lot of customer development and found out that it is really important for people, especially in journalist field, to not only have an AI detection tool, but also to be able find plagiarism in the text, because it's like the same problem. You do not want to post plagiarism as well as generated content. And so we are now working on plagiat detector as well, so that it will be all-in-one tool when you can detect whether the text is like some bullshit or it's pretty fine and it is clean written. So you can just go through our website. We have, as for now, just a premium subscription, but we will launch in about, it's like pre-announce, we will launch a huge update to our website and tariffs plan, where we will have enterprise plan, we will have educational plan. If you like school, you can buy subscription rights for all teachers in your organization so that they can score whatever they want. And and we've set up a company this January, at the end of this January in Dubai. It's AI Technologies, so that we will be able to process payments from real life and to like earn.
By real life, you mean credit cards, not just crypto.
Yeah.
You mean like credit card? You basically you swipe on your credit card and that's how you pay, and then right.
Yeah.
So it's not crypto only. That's basically the point you're making, because most of the world doesn't use crypto to pay for things. So they want to use their Visa card for whatever reason. I don't understand it, but for whatever reason they do. So, and then I didn't quite catch the pricing. Did you mention the actual pricing for these things, or is that announced or not?
Yeah, for premium user, if you like just a person, it will be about $50 for month, and $12 for month if you pay annually.
Got it. Oh, it's quite the difference. $50 a month versus $12. That's I guess I'll pay annually, right? So so I love the fact that you have plagiarism detection. I didn't even think about that, but yes, of course, that is another. You want to make sure it's not written by AI, but you also want to make sure that there's no plagiarism in there. I would think fact checking would be another one. Have you thought about that also, or is that sort of outside the scope of what you do?
Yeah, actually, fact checking is another task. And as for now, we've interviewed around 10 people in the field, like writers, copywriters, journalists, teachers, and etc. And for them, it is much more important to make sure that it's not like have any reputational risk. And anyway, there is no, as for now, like ultimate fact checking. It's anyway up to person to make sure that all facts are right, that there is no some faults in it. And as for now, we are not going to make some fact checking system, but we anyway are going to add plagiarism, and in the future we also we working on some like more precise highlightings, so that we can tell not only which sentence looks AI generated in general, but also to highlight some words, so that this and this like 10 words are most AI and like GPT. If you rewrite them, you will reduce mostly. You will reduce heavily your AI detection score, so that people can write more human, and we will be able to give them more precise suggestion on how to make it.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's talk about you guys and who you are. So who are you? Where do you come from? Are you a computer science guy? Are you an AI guy? You've been doing this for a while, and then how many people are in your company, and sort of what's the makeup? Is it a bunch of AI computer scientists? Paint the picture for me of who are you and who are your people.
Yeah, sure. So as for me, I'm actually an AI guy. I've been working as an ML engineer for about 4 years. I've started in a bank field. Then I've worked first few years I've been working in a bank. After that, I'm building an LLM detection, or not LLM detection, LLM-driven real estate agent in Singapore. I was leading an ML department there. And as for now, I am CEO and founder of the Subnet and its AI. I've actually started, so in the beginning there were just a few of us, but as for now, it's about 6 people, backender, frontender, designer, marketer, me, and also one guy who also helping me with ML part. So yeah, it's already pretty much a team, and without the team, I definitely wouldn't made it.
Yeah, it sounds like a good lean AI startup. So congratulations. It sounds like a great subnet. So yeah, I think you're going to do very well. I think as more people discover you and realize, real product, real team, it works really well. You're going to get more interest in your subnet. I'm pretty sure. So, and I think the subnet summer is coming. So I think just sort of in general, like once this wrap tokens on Solana, and the Solana crowd wakes up to what this is, and that unlike the first wave of virtuals and things like that, which were just meme coins with mouths, right? So they're agents, but really they're just chatbots with Twitter accounts, right? And not they're interesting for about a week, and then everybody forgets about them. I think the world is realizing that the products coming out of Bittensor are pretty hardcore, real AI projects that are competing successfully and sometimes outpacing their venture-backed counterparts. And once that sort of penetrates the skull brain of the Solanaverse, all of that liquidity is going to start flooding into subnet tokens. I kind of feel like, if you just throw a dart at a board and you throw 10 darts at, the 80 subnets, it doesn't even matter what you invest in right now. Once that stage of the rocket hits, everything's just going to go up altogether, right? Of course, some of them will be runaway hits, and it's hard to predict. Yeah, I think we know Shoots is going to be one of them, right? Everyone sort of coalesced on that one. So that one appears to be one of the early winners for sure. Everything else, don't know. It's sort of up for grabs at the moment, right? For the rest of the pack, for the most part. So I think you're going to do very well. Just sort of, in 6 months, it'll be a very different conversation. What do you think about that?
I actually wanted to ask you, maybe you know something about timeline for this Solana or Ethereum wrapping for the TAO, because actually I think it will change the game, because as for now, it's anyway more about Bittensor ecosystem. It's guys who use command line to basically stake and something like this.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, there is TAO stats and some website with interface where you can do it. But anyway, if you can connect it to general market, general exchanger, it will be much more easier for people to obtain your token. And the easier it is, the more money here. So maybe you know some timeline on it.
Yeah, I don't know the timeline. What I can tell you is that every week I see a new attempt pop up out of the pavement that I didn't know about before. So backprop, it's not what I've just talked about, but it is a much better UI for using TAO and DTAO alpha tokens natively. The website just easier to sort of visually inhale. It's simpler, and it's definitely a order of magnitude easier to use than TAO stats. And that's no dig on TAO stats. I love what they've done, and for the complicated, for the sophisticated user, it's absolutely the best way to fly because the most information is there.
Sure.
But if you want the dummy version, then backprop is orders of magnitude better for the dummy version. And since I'm a dummy, I like it better. So there's that.
Okay.
But I've seen some other things like TAObot. TAObot is the one that I've actually spent a lot of time digging into. And the way they do it is they're on Ethereum, and they basically say, come to TAO.bot and connect your Ethereum wallet. And once you connect your Ethereum wallet, they want you to upload your Ethereum, and then they convert it into TAO for you. And when they do that, you don't have to use a TAO wallet at all. You just convert your Ethereum wallet converts into TAO, but the TAO exists on their end. So it's like you logged into Coinbase, right? So it's a centralized exchange. It's a centralized exchange that deals in TAO and TAO tokens, and then you can basically use that TAO in their system to buy subnet tokens, which also reside in their system. And then when you cash out a subnet tokens back to TAO, and then TAO back to Ethereum. That goes back into your Ethereum wallet. So you just use an Ethereum wallet the entire time. Now, are these guys going to rug you? Are they going to steal your Ethereum? Are we going to wake up one morning and find that the website's gone and all the Ethereum that have been uploaded is mysteriously missing? Yes, that could happen. That's absolutely possible. The team is not doxxed, so we don't know who they are, and that worries me. I don't like that. But then again, Satoshi Nakamoto is also not doxxed, and that worked out okay, right? So it's a red flag, but it's not like a death knell, in my opinion. In my mind, the jury's out. That said, I would not trust a large amount of Ethereum to this system. I've only done little tests, like seriously, like $40 worth of Ethereum. That's it. That's all I've put up there, just because I wanted to see how it worked, right? All of that said, and all those warnings given, it does work pretty awesome. With just an Ethereum wallet, I can invest in subnet tokens. And I've done the whole thing where I've gone from Ethereum to TAO, TAO to subnet token back out to TAO, TAO back out to Ethereum. It all worked fine. So it does work. And it's super easy. It's dummy simple. I don't like the fact that the founders aren't doxxed. But they've proven that there's like a way to do it. So we are going to see the solutions are going to start hitting faster and faster and faster. I did interview a guy named Michael White who runs a Bittensor fund here on Hashrate like 3 episodes ago, and he is aware of some other things. He thinks that the Solana stuff is going to pop up in the next month, maybe 2 months tops, where we're going to see wrap tokens on Solana. And he seems to know some things that he hasn't talked about, even to me. But I do think this is coming. It's too good. It's too good. Like everybody, like if you're in the Solanaverse, you're looking for the next thing, right? And next week I'm interviewing, I haven't announced that. I'm not going to, actually, I don't want to announce it on this show. I'm interviewing another speed chain, the founders of another speed chain, not Solana, but think something like that, which is also incredibly, incredibly fast. And I want to save that as a surprise. But I'm going to suggest to them that they find someone to basically take this market, because whoever does this first, I think, is going to do insanely well. And I will now tell, just bear with me for a second. I want to tell one quick story. So in 2019, I was in Singapore, and CZ of Binance was on stage, and he was telling the story of how Binance became so huge. And he said, well, back when the blockchain Neo launched, they listed Neo on their exchange very quickly. But not only that, all the other exchanges that carried Neo emitted a token called gas. They separated out their gas token from their staking token. And the gas token, if you held Neo in your wallet, you just accrued a little bit of gas every day. It just went right into the wallet. The blockchain just sent it to you with each block. And but if you loaded your Neo up on an exchange, all the other exchanges would not give you your gas. The exchange kept the gas for themselves, right? Because it's on the exchange's wallet. And Binance is like, well, that's bullshit. Of course you should get your gas. Just the fact that it's up on Binance doesn't mean you should get ripped off of your gas. So Binance very quickly enabled gas collection for anyone who uploaded Neo into Binance, which attracted a whole giant slew of new users. People just defected from all the other exchanges, and they tended to stay in Binance once they were there, right? So that was the moment where they sort of hit that knee of the curve and went vertical and became Binance. It was because of that. So I say this because I think we're at another one of those inflection points. He who makes the Solana wrap tokens work first, whatever chain does that, right? Whether it's Solana, whether it's Sui, whether it's Sonic, whether it's Tron, one of these speed chains, they're going to have a massive, massive win on their hands. And right now is the moment to do it in. So long-winded way of saying somebody fucking better do it. Somebody will do it.
Yeah.
Questions? Do you agree, disagree?
I think you're right. I think you're right. It's just a question of time, and I think not a long time until someone finally cracked it up. And we just, as for now, so we've seen several platforms where with subnet lists and like who provide for users opportunity to read and know more about subnets. And we just, as a subnet owner, just list on all of them, put our description. For example, on TAO bot, you can even interact with our platform through their interface. And it's just we are trying to be on as much platforms as possible to get as much attention, because currently attention is pretty valuable in DAO.
Yes. Very cool. All right. Well, we're almost we're at the 45-minute mark here. I don't have any more questions. Is there anything you want to bring up that I failed to bring up?
Actually, no. I think we've covered pretty much. And thanks for having me. It was nice to meet you and have a call with you.
Well, thank you for taking the time, Sergey. I really appreciate you jumping on here. So, all right. Well, I guess that's a show then. My name is Mark Jeffrey. This has been Hash Rate. We'll see you all next time.